Gus here. How's everyone? This is weird. Of course, I'm not presenting to you live, which normally is what I would do. I'm here standing in front of a tripod and a camera with zero feedback. But let me tell you, when I was asked to do a keynote to the Trucking Association, I was super excited because it brings incredible fond memories of my time as a young traveler. When I was about 18 or so, I dropped out of university. It wasn't necessarily for me. And I grabbed a backpack and my thumb and I started hitchhiking around Latin America, which eventually those trips led me to, work in one of the biggest brands in the world in travel at Lonely Planet and become the executive director of that company and running the company worldwide, which was an incredible ride. But during that time of hitchhiking around Latin America, a lot of that travel happened in trucks. And often when I think of when I was told about the Trucking Association, immediately these fond memories came back of me knowing a lot of different companies that will do certain routes between Latin America, between Buenos Aires and Rio and Santa Cruz and various other places. And I remember knowing the drivers and being able to be a good companion, I guess. And, I was always there hanging out with them. They even radio each other and tell, hey, I've got Gus with me. Do you want him? And I'll be literally swapping around from truck to truck and keeping track his company. I had the most incredible time doing that. And of course, like I said, I've got a really beautiful connection to that side. So look, I've got a short period of time to give you a bunch of thoughts. I bring these experiences from my battle scars and my experiences over time in business and having seen an industry, being media, I guess, being reinvented and changing dramatically through the birth of the internet. So bear with me. At points in time I might provoke you and make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Please stay with me. Don't panic. It's just me shaking you up and provoking you to think slightly different. So let's get going. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. So let me tell you something really important. Adaptability is probably the most important quality that you can have as an individual and as a business or as an industry to be able to survive the speed at which things are changing right now. Let me set the scene for you. The book at the top that you can see there is the Bible, the Gutenberg Bible. The one at the bottom is the first, one of the brand new books that Lonely Planet is printing right now. Yeah. So the difference in between those two is almost negligible. There's not much difference. They look almost identical, except the book at the top was printed 560 something years ago and the one at the bottom is brand new. So here's the lesson. When you do the same thing over and over again, you build momentum. And we tend to associate momentum with a positive thing. We think, a bit of momentum and we're going to be great. Now, your momentum is great if it points in the direction of your customer. If your customer starts using a different solution to fix their problem, you become irrelevant. So be very careful. If your industry or yourself have been doing the same thing for a long time, you're going to get stuck in that momentum and it's very difficult to shift it. The more you build, the harder it is to move away from it. Disruption looks a bit like this, right? Everything is looking fine. Someone comes into the market and promises a better solution to you, let's say transporting goods from A to B, right? We do it in trucks, we can do it in trains, we can do it in drones, we can do it, in microparticles through some other crazy way, virtually, right? Of course, at the beginning, those new technologies fail and those drones drop all the loads and things get lost and you get a little kick because you think, I told you so, they weren't going to be as good as us, right? And all of a sudden, they figure out how to do it and it's too late to do anything about it. Please don't underestimate this. When disruption hits, when new products come into the market, when there is new ways of doing things, they're always going to come in, they're always going to fail, and then they succeed. And as that happens, if you at any point in time, when they come in or when they fail, you underestimate them and you think, don't worry, they'll pass, you will be making a mistake. Right? This is what happened to all of us in media with the internet. It came in, it promised that it was going to revolutionize advertising, travel, this, that, the other. At the beginning, it failed. Lots of people couldn't quite use it. You couldn't pay on it. It was dangerous, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, they figured it out. And of course, all these companies took off and it was too late for many to do anything about it. All right, here's the other funny thing. Once we put those procedures in place, once we build a bit of that momentum, we often tend to concrete it. We often go, right, that process works, that forms works, that procedure works. Make sure we always do it the same and exactly in the same way. So what we do is we pour, concrete over the top and eventually the concrete owns us. And we end up in a situation where we are owned by the system. So of course, there's your beautiful concrete. You can see it in the picture. There is the customer going down the dirt path. And of course, your beautiful picture of concrete is anyone in the world, in Australia, moving goods with trucks. That's your concrete, right? You've got trucks, they got goods, they want to match them up, you move them. But all of a sudden, let's say the customer moves down a dirt path and says, I want to move my goods in drones or in a virtual way or whatever, right? Bear with me. I'm just trying to extract, push you away from your traditional way of thinking. And of course, going down the dirt path is hard, is dangerous, is difficult, is risky. But the customer doesn't wait for you. Remember, the customer doesn't give a shit about you. Customers don't go, oh my God, I can't wait to get a truck to help, a company that can help me move my things from A to B. All the person wants is move something from A to B. That's it. How it happens, they don't care about it. Give me the cheapest and fastest and safest and I'm good to go, right? Same as people back in the day didn't want to actually buy a book to travel. All they wanted was to travel. Lonely Planet sold them books, but that was just a mechanism by which they achieved this. So be very careful with the concrete, because once it owns you, you get very stuck in it, you can't move away. Now, here's where we are at the moment, right? We're in a forced adaptation mode. What that means is, at the moment, instead of having the opportunity to adapt if we think we want to, we are being forced to adapt because of the pandemic that we're all experiencing right now. Many businesses are going through insane demand. Many are going through no demand at all. To some, very few, nothing has changed, right? But the truth is, when you are forced to adapt, you go through three things, which is survival, recovery, and opportunity. Survival you can't ignore. At the very beginning, when things hit hard, you need to pay attention to your survival. For that, you need an enormous amount of resilience. Tap into it. Humans are quite resilient, so that will happen naturally. The next thing, of course, is courage. You need courage to be able to recover. So you need to face it and do it, courageous enough to fail because you're going to screw it up, because some things are not going to work, but you need to get in it. And then to be able to uncover opportunity, you need to be curious. Without curiosity, if you don't start asking questions, why do we always move things this way? How do we do it this? Why can we keep, what? If you don't start asking questions, you won't get rid of the concrete and you'll continue to be stuck in your momentum. I know you can do it, and I know that, as you move forward into the future, those new technologies and companies that are going to be moving the future of our goods, our products, and so on, have to come from you. Don't let anybody else do it. You should do it, right? So let me finish with a quick quote. I said somebody should do something about that, and then I realized I am somebody. So please, trust me when I say this, be the ones that actually come up with the future ideas that is going to drive your industry forward. Thank you so much.